The course that I plan to redesign as a blended learning course is cell biology. It happens to be a course that I teach each semester. As you can see from the following course objectives, there is quite a bit of biological content that needs to be covered throughout the semester. I've listed several challenges to redesign of this class. One of which is there's a high amount of material covered, which I described in the previous slide by looking at the course objectives. This high content means it's difficult for students to retain that amount of material, but it's necessary for them to move on to upper division courses beyond this course. In addition, students already have a workload that's high with this course. It not only has a lecture component, but also a lab component that also requires additional work. So incorporation of technology into this class, I don't want it to add a huge amount of workload to the students, but more enhance their learning so it actually can decrease the time that they have to spend in additional hours trying to learn and retain the material. Another important challenge that I find with this class is with the plethora of technology that's out there that can be utilized online, choosing the right types of learning that would enhance learning in this type of class, in a science class, and not choosing too many, but choosing just the right number to really enhance learning. The redesign process for this class will have to allow me to embrace a new way of teaching, which is something that's hard for me to let go. I've spent a high amount of time in the traditional lecture style teaching, where I lecture about all the different topics that we need to cover throughout the time with very little introduction of any type of technology. So I've laid out the old style versus the new style of teaching that I'm going to incorporate into this class. Like I've just said in the last slide, I spend a majority of my lecture time in cell biology teaching a traditional lecturing style where I am standing in front of the class taking notes, additional notes on the board, as well as introducing new concepts with slides and some short videos. The new design of this class will involve an important reduction of this traditional style so that I can incorporate new learning techniques that hopefully will enhance learning of all these important concepts. One component that I'm going to incorporate is online modules that will be done in a weekly fashion. These modules, which are still a work in progress, will hopefully include short interactive lectures covering key concepts. To ensure that students are watching these interactive lectures, I will need to assess the learning in some way with the use of quizzes or some sort of class comment board. This will allow me to free up face-to-face time that I normally would spend with traditional lecturing to allow some group activities that will hopefully reinforce the material that they've addressed. Some of these group activities may be analysis of a current research paper, looking at some of the different types of concepts that we've addressed, but more in a biological method concept, and having the students break down the important aspects of that paper, whether it be techniques or concepts that we've addressed directly in class. I've been fortunate enough to actually do one other of these types of videos in class, and this video, I should say, it was done outside of class, and the students were able to look at one particular concept over a 12-minute period. I asked the students as I came back in to lecture the next day how they liked it, and I actually had a really good positive feedback on the lecture. One of the important thoughts from many of the students was the idea that they could rewind sections of the video so that they could understand the concept better. That's something that I can't do obviously in lectures. So that is one advantage of adding these short modules. It will allow the students to rewind and go back through parts of the lecture that they needed to understand more thoroughly and they didn't get the first time. So I am encouraged that these online techniques will be a helpful tool for enhancing learning in this class.